Ended up signing my first record deal to a Canadian-based company. I didn't really know anything about the business side of music.
Just felt like I needed to make this work. I had to.
Well, you know, you kind of have these perceptions of what you want things to play out like to be, and it doesn't always happen.
From the outside looking in, I'm sure people thought, oh, she's with a record label, she's covered. Had a manager, and I had someone that could go along with me wherever I ended up.
Hey, it's Amy. This has been my journey. I wanted to share with you the highs and lows, the rock bottoms, and the hopes and dreams that I have for the future. Singing weddings, international stages, experiencing loss, corruption, and, well, honestly, everything in between. Even a secret identity. Join me on the journey to now.
One of the first things Corey and I did together as a dynamic duo was apply for this contest called Project Wild. It was a country music contest, and the top 3 got a lot of money to go towards music stuff.
My manager called me and said, you're in. He's like, I gotta go, but you're in. And I hung up, and I was kind of just like, eh.
While I was accepted to Project Wild, I was kind of intermittently at the same time talking to my record label about re-signing. We had released all the singles that we needed to radio. We had released that additional single, Whiskey Won't Fix Me, and it was kind of like, okay, either we're gonna do another album or we're gonna part ways. So I decided that I wasn't going to re-sign, and it was time for me to kind of start a new journey. After the first showcase of Project Wild, we did an orientation type thing, and we got the schedule for what Project Wild was going to be like, and all of a sudden I had all of these dates that I had to attend. I had radio interviews, I had showcases, I had a retreat that we were going to. It was really felt like this is perfect. This couldn't be more perfect timing. We got sent off to a 10-day retreat in the middle of nowhere for all 12 acts, where we would learn about branding, legalities in the music industry, performing, vocal coaching. It really was like an all-in-one package for the indie musician. So it was quite magical that it came into my life when it did. It was really amazing for me to meet like-minded individuals and be surrounded by artists for such an extended period of time, where we could really get to know each other and talk about deep things, and, you know, people understood what you were going through. One of the guys that I met, Joel Fraser, he was a guitar player for one of the artists that were in Project Wild. We got along right away, very similar type of people. We got to talking one day in private, and I had told him that I was working on pop music, and I'd been writing different types of music that would never play on country radio. And I was timid to tell people that because I didn't want to ruin my chances or ruin any of the momentum or respect that I had gained in the country music industry. And much to my surprise, he had replied that he also had been doing production in pop and dance music. We both had the same view. You know, music is music, and as long as it's good, it doesn't matter what genre it is. So we both decided that if we didn't win, we were gonna try to do a couple things together, do a few songs together. Final showcase, the final 3 were announced. Neither of us were in it. Him with his artist and me as an artist did not make the top 3, which was a huge bummer, but it also just felt like it was a sign to me that I shouldn't be doing country music. So I don't know if I texted it to him or if I showed him in person, but I wrote this song called Letting Go, and I said, I think you should hear this. I think it would be good as pop or like a dance song. So I showed it to him, and he agreed. So he showed it to his friend that he works with that's a DJ, and he also agreed. So together they worked and made it a dance song. And we all decided that it was pretty good and that we were going to release it.
I'd walk beside you anywhere, but you won't let me follow you. You hold up walls with your bare hands, walls that no one can get through. If you tried differently, if you would let me see what holds you back from me.
At the time, I still kind of had my foot in the door in both scenarios. I was still getting gigs as a country artist. I didn't want to put my actual name on it because I didn't want to stop the income that I was getting from playing country music festivals and country music gigs. I went under a different name, and that is when AIM was born. We released the song to radio, and it was being played a lot across Canada on certain stations. It was weird. When I would drive to a big city, I could hear my song, and it was kind of weird because nobody knew it was me, like, except for close friends and family. But there was probably a lot of people who knew me that were hearing that song and not knowing that it was me. I remember I was doing a country music gig up north in Alberta, and I was at a Booster Juice, I think, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, this feels familiar, and then I was like, ah, this is me. And it was that song, it was Letting Go, playing in the Booster Juice up in northern Alberta in the middle of nowhere, and I was there playing a country music festival, so it was kind of just a weird train of events. And then I got a call saying that the DJ that I released the song with, DJ Cobb, his group, Drum and DJ, got the opening slot for the Chainsmokers at the Cowboys tent during the Calgary Stampede. Now, if you've never been to the Calgary Stampede, it is the biggest outdoor show in the world, I think is what they call it. So I asked Joel, I was like, is there any way that we could do our song? Like, I would really love to do our song, and I probably annoyed him quite a bit about it. So eventually I did get the green light that I was going to be able to perform opening up for the Chainsmokers for a song that I wrote in secret. I finally got to live out my dream of having a dance squad with me on stage. And I think it was like a couple hours before we went on stage, DJ Cobb was like, hey, just so you know, like, if the song's not hitting, like, we're gonna have to phase it out. So because which a lot of DJs do, they can kind of read the room, and really good DJs can read the room well. And DJ Cobb is a really good DJ. And so he was like, just so you know, if it's not bouncing, we got to phase it out. So you're performing live, you also got to phase out. I was like, okay, well, I got to put my all into this, and hopefully people like it. You would think that opening up for the Chainsmokers was like, okay, there we go again, you've made it. But I didn't have any connections in the pop world, really. I didn't have the money to release the music, and I didn't have a label, and I didn't really have a career plan for pop, especially because I was doing it under a different name. And so what it did give me was the confidence to be like, okay, so you have something here, you can do this. And it kind of gave me the gumption that I needed to keep moving forward.
I need a second. I'm just so tired of doing things with no vision.
I've been trying to navigate everything on my own. And